Whitney and the You Will Make It TV YouTube channel. We're live again today. If you miss us, that's 100% okay. This is why we do repost all of our live streams in case you were not available or were busy. Um, Maybe not even on YouTube at the time that we are live. We do understand that we all live on and off and by different time schedules, especially if you guys are on another side of the world. But shout out to you again today. Happy Thursday. We hope you guys all, if you're still at work, we wish you nothing but joy, peace, and strength to finish your shift. But if you're off, we hope that you had a great work day from You Will Make It TV. We hope that you remained as inspired as possible at work too, because you don't want your only inspiration to work to be money. We'll keep that topic for another day, but that's an inspirational quote already. I didn't even mean to start this topic about that, but it totally aligned with what I was going to be talking about anyway. You just don't want, like I said, money to be. I'm going to start back showing my face on live. It ain't like I got nothing to hide. Y'all know I show my face on the shorts, but the reason I cover my camera is because if I'm multitasking while I'm covering a live topic, it's not really everybody business what I'm doing in my house or recording studio when I don't show my face. But I really do hope y'all have enjoyed the live insightful topics so far. We appreciate your support. We want to remind you guys to remember to like, share, and subscribe to any of You Will Make It TV's public content. Okay, these are 3 free ways you are able to show your support. Okay, I'm gonna let some people get in the room for a second. I'm still gathering some of my information here when it comes to my reaction to, really, this is not even just a reaction. Death happens every day. People lose people every day. I'm not downplaying what Aunt D is going through right now. This is more of a reaction slash giving her flowers too at the same time, because it's not easy to probably sit there and raise, help, what's another word? You know what I'm saying? Look after just one person with a mental health disability. Let me just start the beginning of this stream saying shout out to you, Aunt D. You do have love and support from the You Will Make It TV channel. I don't know if they've posted GoFundMe yet or different ways we might be able to help. I do know she have, I think they did just start posting it. There's ways we can send funds, because we're going to talk a little bit more about what she does in one quick second, but I couldn't move forward without telling her all my opinions and openness on this stream today is nothing but out of respect, because sometimes I do believe God chooses families to, you know what I'm saying, just like he'll show us a family to show us the wrong example of something. He'll also show you a family of example when he feels like they're doing the right thing. If y'all agree, just put an amen in the chat or a number 1. I don't know. I'm not good at that, but I am trying to learn how to more stay reactive. What's that called? Not reactive, but interactive with my subscribers as well. So you guys can always talk to me back in the chat. Happy Thursday, Mr. Perez out there. I hope you're having a beautiful Thursday. You Will Make It TV absolutely is appreciative of your support today. A lot of you guys might not know who Aunt D is. That's like her, probably not just her nickname, but her YouTube channel brand name. You know what I mean? And she's known, not only does she caretake for people who need help with mental disabilities right at home. I can't give her a shout out enough, right? Especially in the Black community. It doesn't matter what race you are when you have a mental health disability. Some people, it's just not for them. That's not the type of work cut out for them to sit there and help you through life. But we'll get to that in a minute. It's not for everybody. It takes a lot of patience dealing with people who do have sense. Let's be honest. I think Aunt D would agree with me, actually. But it takes a lot of patience to deal with people who have 100% common sense. Sometimes you just, You got to learn how to, what's that called? Coexist with people rather than always try to take control. And, anyways, shout out to her because outside of her home life, though, where she still caretakes for people who might be suffering from mental health disabilities, she go to work. She go to work every day. I know many of y'all been bragging on D for a while, but I just want to give it from my personal opinion. You know what I mean? Like, truly, truly, nothing but respect. I respect more people than people would imagine, actually. But it doesn't take, it's not like the average things that just like, oh my God, I respect that person. Like tangible things. Like she might not be the richest lady in the world, but one thing about it, she's employed, she has a job, she's known for being a very good caretaker for those with specifically autism. I don't know if I got to mention it. So apparently, even if you were brand new to who Aunt D is and what her story is and how she chooses to share her story on social media, you know, she has some family members. I believe she just lost a son, y'all. So I'm going to take a moment of silence for a second. She lost a son, and in a way, none of us want to lose our children. That's one thing, but it's like for you to had already been showing your struggles on social media. My heart goes out to her. Nothing but love, condolences, and respect for sure. Because right now, anybody lose a child, you just feel guilty, man. I'm going to say like a real parent that cared, you're going to feel guilty as hell. But really, she wasn't even around. Like this particular son, you know, he was grown. And sometimes just because your kid gets older does not mean that they are not suffering. If they were struggling with autism as a child, we're not talking about Aunt D alone right now. We're talking about anybody. When we talk about the realities of autism, really, the more I've matured and woke up to the world and the realities of the things that exist, yes, there's so much miseducation when it comes to mental health and like what people really go through. Let's say somebody with schizophrenia, somebody who is bipolar, somebody who does suffer from depression. You see what I'm saying? You wouldn't know that unless a person disclosed that, but we respect Aunt D's channel because she's not hiding that at all. She's very open about her life and helping to caretake for those with autism both at work and when she returns to home. Like, I can't say enough how much respect. It's like, God, like, girl, show your face on these live. Let the people see your reaction as you talk. I keep trying to cover up my camera. I think it's funny. But I do take it as a sign. God is ready for me to get back on the mic and on the camera, just like I was with the Crown Publishing Content YouTube channel. If you haven't checked that out, maybe want to get more familiar with who I am as a speaker, author, and stuff like that, please feel free. You go check out the Crown Publishing Content channel anytime. Because maybe you're like, who is this speaker? Why should we listen to her? You know, there is some reference check. Y'all can always go look at on Crown Publishing Content. If you like, we want to really know if this her, it's me. I'm the same one live right now that was doing those videos over there. I just chose to switch up my topic preferences a little bit because just when it comes to holding conversation, making conversation, and sitting through a conversation, I'm the perfect one for it. Like, people know that, you know, I'll talk your ears off. But it's different when you're talking people's ears off about literal topics that matter. That's where God showed me something years ago. Like, don't let nobody tell you talk too much. Actually, I can use your tongue. That's what God told me. I can use, you know, it's not so much about you talking so much, but what are you talking so much about? And that right there is something I try to display for God. It's not about getting the favor of the people, what's that called? Their admiration or nothing like that. It's about, okay, well, if that's a part of my characteristic, my personality, I talk a lot, what am I talking about? To me, I've been very, very, some people that might not see it, they're not going to see it like that just yet, but I've been way more careful about not just who I'm talking to, but what I'm talking about. But anyways, it always does help to find communities that do understand what you might be going through when you are a caretaker. We understand what people might be going through on the side of you're the one with the mental health disability. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But do we talk about the parents, the caretakers, those that are right there loving them through every stage of their illness as well? Like I said, the list goes on. You got bipolar, schizophrenic, autism. We like on Dee's channel really does show the realities of autism and maybe having multiple autistic people in one home at one time. Not only that, this caretaker I'm referring to, I can't give her enough respect. Like if I haven't enough already, maybe even I just learned that not only the ones she caretake for at home have autism, but she does too. Ain't that something? Y'all go subscribe to her channel if you haven't already, because yes, when it comes to like the awareness, I feel like that's a great channel to follow, not to be in her and her family's business, not to see where she's struggling, where she ain't doing something right. No, to literally follow her journey, because she has opened it up that way, you know. It's one, you really don't have extra time for cameras and videos all the time when you are trying to raise because really who she looks after, they're grown now, but you don't have time for cameras. And that's why I respect people who still got a channel and they're dealing with maybe caretaking for others. And I don't just mean in a parent and guardian type of way. I'm talking about for their mental health, their spiritual health. It's more people than we know probably in their families been solid like that, for real. Like tried to be the one that keep patience, because they do understand the mental levels that some of their family members might be on. That's why Aunt D's story touched me so much. According to the story, I saw in the comments on some of her what happened to her son recently, where people was like, why is this not on the news? Which I also pretty much was asking the same thing, like not in the comments or openly, but I believe they probably haven't even put it on the news because y'all be thinking just because something happened to a big influencer, everything finna be on the news. First of all, they can try to ask people if they would like their privacy respected. That's probably another reason why her son's story wasn't like, but whether it was on the news or not, they came out publicly, people close to them and her, and I don't think they would do that as a stunt, okay? Not a lot of people pull that type of stunt. We know what a stunt is, like something that might help you get views, grow your channel a little bit, you know what I'm saying, get the blogs talking, but I don't think this was that. Ain't nobody gonna just say somebody died for clout. It don't look like Aunt D would do that. And I haven't seen any updated videos saying that that was false. Or first we seen her come out with news saying that he was missing. And when we talk about mental health, whether it's a older person or a child, we know what a child is even scarier because you know, they're a child. But we'll talk about like kind of how she shows those struggles on her channel, or how she had been doing it before this happened. So if, in case you don't know, she don't have to know everybody. There are people out here praying for her family, and I mean genuine prayers, you know what I'm saying, of positivity, peace. I even pray that God, you know, send her more help. There are people that help them, know, you know what I mean. I'm just saying, to me, she deserved the world, because not only does she do what she do in her work life for a career, like work with people with mental health disabilities, she also helping her loved ones at home. It looked like they all stayed under one roof type of deal. I think the other kids' names, the other young ladies that she caretake for at this time, they're known for their social media presence with Aunt D and showing their autism stories. I think their names are Shay and Bria, and I just love them already. Like, I done met them. Like, they're great. And it take a lot of courage for her to open up and say, I want to share my story. I want to share what it's like in my house every day, living with 3 autistic persons and her being autistic herself. Just imagine, right? And sometimes she even shows the more gruesome parts, like rest in peace to her son again. It would even be times like some people that are not educated about something like autism, right? You know, they can get kind of overstimulated with their emotions and how they're feeling sometimes. And a person with that disability could very much, look for ways to soothe themselves. They don't understand that maybe hitting somebody is wrong, or kicking the doors, or whatever they might do to try to, because they're overstimulated. Oftentimes, when you are trained to work with them, though, as you get to learn more about it, autism, they'll teach you that, you can probably try to catch them in those stages before they're even overstimulated, right? Extra to you, it would just look like, oh, they're angry, they're throwing a spell or a fit. But if you're not educated about autism, you wouldn't know that they're just overstimulated. They need to be calmed down. They need, you know what I'm saying, close attention. Yeah, it take a person with patience to even slow down and say, wait a minute, let me try to get to the bottom, get a little deeper of what my loved one, friend, or whoever might be suffering from autism might be going through. It's definitely a topic that needs to pretty much remain constant, because it's not like the mental health illness community is getting any smaller. If anything, it's been greatly increasing. I know it has over the past 10 years in like many households. And autism, I think they're like born with, you know what I mean? So she could have gave up on the journey a long time ago. I just want her to remain encouraged. It couldn't have been easy to get a text from your son saying, like he's tired. He was might have been feeling like, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? You never know what somebody going through. They just accept who God make them when they're born bipolar, schizophrenic, autism. Did anybody stop to think about that? When somebody's born like that, they just pretty much live their lives going through loving themselves just the way they are. Like, hey, I've accepted it. I have autism. I've accepted it. I have OCD. I've accepted it. I got a personality disorder. But I never thought that meant, because like we'll talk about like LGBT communities, all these other different communities, societies, and groups that might get backlash or that are misunderstood or that people don't support. But see, the mental health awareness arena is another place where, I'm sorry, just a lot of people are already more vulnerable because that's their level of disability. But it's not a disability you can always physically see. Please remember to hit that like button to show your support, share, and uh, subscribe if you haven't already. You can do that by clicking on that gold subscribe bell and become a subscriber. That way you're notified every time that we do go live or post new content, new inspirational quotes. We are finna start. I hope you guys are excited as I am. There will just be more guests coming on our podcast with me to talk about their inspirational stories. They might share inspirational quotes they might have to send on and spread and share with the world as well. But we will be starting those segments very soon. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you hit that subscribe bell. It's just what I'm being led to do, because I'm not the only one with an inspirational story. Okay? There are just so many, and I feel like God be wanting me to come across them, even if they're inspirational stories for third world countries. There are people surviving the impossible every day. Back what I was saying, it's like not even my story and it's hard for me to talk about, but I'm just trying to cover the facts. How her son texts her, you know what I mean? Just imagine you having a normal day and your son is struggling with mental health, but you never think this day comes where he actually takes his own life. They end up finding a body in somewhere near a bridge that had water under it. And last I was checking up on the story, they were trying to confirm whether it was Aunt D's son or not. Even though this story been out 3 or 4 days now, I didn't want to come out and do a reaction until there was maybe at least a further notice of update that even confirmed the story. But like I said, I don't think anybody would pull a stunt like that just for views. I think if she said her son was missing and sent her a strange text right before it happened, then that's what happened. I'm just saying it couldn't have been easy. And let's just remember to keep her in prayer. Because you can be doing all you could possibly do. And they say some people that commit suicide or whatever, they don't even show signs at all. That's what I think is the worst stories, because it make people feel like they missed something when they could have been pouring all the love they possibly had, all the attention they possibly had in that person. That's what give you the worst feeling about certain suicide stories, because you already knew that person was suffering, but other times you don't know at all. And some suicide stories come out as a complete shock to people. Why? Because that person didn't show a sign whatsoever that they were depressed at all, or that they were tired of life in that way. Once again, rest in peace to Chris, and respect, love, condolences, blessings, peace, and prayers to Aunt D. It's just, I'm taking a moment of silence a little bit here and there, because it's like, it's a heavy story, even for me. And I don't know Aunt D and her family personally, but sometimes when you follow a channel for so long, you feel like you related to them because, I don't know, you follow their story for so long. So really, I'm just another fan, but I think I speak for the fans when I say her tragic loss won't take anything, we won't look at her any less or different. I'm saying the real fans that understand mental health. As we see, if we didn't see how raw what she was showing us, how her life was before this story with her son, we see now. That's like the encouragement or inspiration I would give her at this time. Even if she said, Arthur Tedder Sherry, so you telling me that you think that God is using what happened to my son? You think God is still using us even deeper? I would tell her that, yes, you don't know who your story is touching right now. And I would encourage her. It's so many people, other people already that have lost loved ones to suicide. And literally leave letters, notes, you know what I'm saying, emails. They say he messaged her, but I think it might have been a few other people he messaged before he went missing. And I'm not even going into detail about what was said, like his text message said before he went missing, right? But obviously it must have gave indication that, he was going to try to harm himself, I just think she's so strong. She's so strong to, keep coming back, giving updates for the viewers, the followers, and the subscribers who might be concerned. It was sad too. It was saying that one of the girls was passing out because they all suffer from autism or whatever. Just imagine, you trying to understand things the best you can when it comes to life, and then you got autism and somebody trying to come tell you and make you understand it. Your brother is no longer here no more, or loved one is no longer here no more. They might not be like easy for somebody with already suffering from mental health to fathom. So the last updates, one of the other daughters she caretake for with her autism disability, maybe they had a few pass out spells. Pass out means, yes, you lose consciousness for a second, but we were happy to hear she was able to. So that's a lot, At the same time, you're getting updates about the son that could have possibly took his life. You're trying to keep up with the health and stability of the ones you still had living. And then, yes, one of the girls, they said she passed out a few times, so they had to rush her to the hospital. That is still a whole natural reaction, whether you have autism or not, sometimes to the news of sudden death, period. And they are just such a strong family. Nobody can tell me that God does not have a greater work for their family, okay? See, people will observe and study and take notes on a family struggle, but I guess it does take a certain type of perception to sit there and ask yourself, well, there has to be a reason why God allows this, because that's what comforts me in my trying times personally. Yes, we get angry. We ask why us. We ask why now. We ask why at all. And then sometimes you don't just ask that for a victim mentality. You ask that because you're waiting on a response from God. Like, well, God, they say what don't kill us make us stronger. So here I am stronger, and what do you have for me next? Okay. I just have so much respect for her. Me personally, I'm gonna continue to follow the channel and support that family as much as I can. Um, I think I've only been knowing. I'm gonna be honest and vulnerable for the segment real quick. I've only been knowing about on these channels. There's many other mental health awareness channels too. So you have awareness, but I'm saying where they actually go live and show their real life. You more call that like a blog or something. You know, like you sharing daily updates of what it's like in your shoes of caretaking for those with autism. Yep, and she shows us like, look how I go to work and do it, but then I come home and do it. Some careers, that's the blessing of it though. A lot of people think that way, like, hey, I drive a lot anyway. I might as well become Uber, or I seem to be teaching people all the time. That's what very well leads some people to their careers. Not like, oh, my daughter has autism, so let me just go get in the field of mental health. But it does happen that way for some people, and then at that point, all the skills and experiences you are learning at work, it only help you to better caretake for those at home. That has always been true. Just ask any medical staff personnel you can find today. Most of them have families at home, even if it's just a puppy or whatever. But I'm sure those experiences and skills at work that they put forth, not just for a paycheck, but hopefully because they love it, they can also build their strength, as who they are and how they tend to everybody at home. Just like with some of us, I don't know, like me, you know what I'm saying? Even if I didn't have children, I feel like I would have still here and there ended up on positions that allowed me or required me to work with children. Yet, if you have children and you work with children over the years, I'm sure it does nothing but build your skills, build your patience, build your knowledge, build your awareness on how you can best not only caretake for children, but tend to areas of their life like mental health, diet. Um, I just think it's so important, financial studies, whatever it is you want to teach your kids. I am gonna do a slight pause break, guys. I'll be right back. Boom, testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3, and just like that, I'm back like I never left. Uh, Focusing our point back to this very precious family who, not just out of the kindness of their heart, but I say it's just kind of vulnerable. When people choose to show vulnerable moments of their life on the internet, I'm not one of those that just be like, you shouldn't share that on the internet. Because stuff like her, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying me personally, but she wouldn't have as many subscribers as she do if other people didn't. They actually respect her transparency and that she's willing to openly show us, you know what I'm saying, moments of that it ain't always pretty. She showed those like tickle moments too, where it's like, hey, they have me laughing sometimes, you know, not in a way where she's mocking their disability of autism, but more, you know, how they have fun and they're still a family, despite of. But she also shows, you know, her harder days too. There's times maybe once again, like I said, the girls get overstimulated, or her son would. They try to fight her. They have disagreements. But I would say, before she started that channel, if I ever get to interview her, I have questions. But she do. She answer questions sometimes. She go live, or she show us parts of their life. But one of my questions was, you know, I wonder before they were more public and open, if you didn't know them, they probably did get judged. That's what a lot of people go through. They're doing nothing but simply trying to caretake for maybe multiple children or multiple family members with a whole mental health disability. It's just that I love how we're growing in the black community where more people are being open to admitting, first of all, that they might have a problem. Second of all, they're actually going to get the help. You know what I mean? That is more prevalent today. At least we can say that. To me, those are steps towards progress in normalizing both mental health awareness and mental health care in minority and black communities. I shouldn't have just said black communities, but yeah, not just writing people off because they might be a little different, or they might be, because different is one thing. Some of us choose to be different. Some are born different. I believe we were all born different, but I mean different in a way where it's very noticeable, like undeniable type of deal. And at the end of the day, we just never know why somebody's different. Maybe they were born like that. Then, as we know with some mental health conditions, it's actually produced, believe it or not. Like some people only suffer from PTSD after something traumatic. That's why it's called post-traumatic stress disorder. You know what I mean? Normalizing getting to know people a whole lot better, even if they are on social media. Because yes, Miss D and her family share their life. They choose to do that. People swear because, well, you chose to put it on the internet. They can judge you. That's fine, judge it, but because I done seen it on both sides. I've seen people where they don't share nothing about their personal life on the internet at all. They still couldn't miss being judged. You know what I'm saying? And then those that come and do it, they get judged, and people be like, you shouldn't even bring that to social media. I don't know. But like I said, you can't just look for a one-sided way of the people anyway. You got to know who you are, where God has strengthened you to be a help and a work in the world. I believe we all very much were born with purpose. No matter how incompetent or what's the other word, disabled somebody is, I promise. I bet some people, because their families still be loving them. Even if they're born bound to a wheelchair or whatever, the doctors telling them they'll never walk again, whatever. That person was still born with a purpose, even if it's just to show people and remind them every day. Be grateful for the activities of your limbs. And I promise, people, you know, walk around like they got their whole mind, but be grateful for it when you do. That's not the end because you have your mind or you don't suffer from a mental health disability like somebody else. Some people with disabilities, it's like, I'm not saying God hangs it over people's hands like, hey, this could be you, but no. He can humble you, anybody in any time. I think they said Ray Charles wasn't even born blind. That was like a illness that kind of snuck up out of nowhere. And mental illness will do that too to parents. You know what I'm saying? Or to the children. When I say to parents, I mean parents can suffer with it, and then they can also, that parent could have been wholeheartedly 100% mentally well when they had their first two kids. Then by number 4 and 5, you see them in a different mental state. That's what I'm just trying to give like a brighter perspective about it. Or you can see the kids get older and then you see certain things like, oh, maybe I missed that here and there. I wouldn't say it don't mean you were neglecting it altogether, but sometimes any illness can get so prevalent, so noticeable that people will encourage you to try to get checked out or get help. Period. And mental health has always been one of those that's kind of hard to, without therapy, without management, without education about it. That's like you just itching and choosing an itch for a whole year and never go see why you're itching so bad. You don't want to go see if you got in some poison ivy or did something bite you. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it can look with mental health as well. I don't know why. I hope nobody would be shocked that I'm speaking on it. Sometimes you're aware. Aware is still not educated, but aware is a step above no knowledge at all. That's what I would say. And women like Aunt D, strong women, strong pillars in our communities. Just because she take care of those people at home, like I said, she does that at work. And what do you call them, nursing homes or hospitals and stuff? So I say a strong pillar of the community. And then when you have pillars like that, that just give, not just at home, but out in a community, I would say, when they suffering a loss, that is when we can, because sometimes when they strong, they're not even looking for it all the time. I can understand Miss D a lot, even though I'm probably a little younger or whatever. I can actually understand those deep things. You know what I'm saying? That she probably don't even get to talk to people about every day. But thank God, whoever, however long ago, whoever helped her, or if God brought the idea to her to start a channel. I think that alone, when people are going through so much like that, can help them feel less alone through it. People swear if you don't have family helping you through a situation, this or that, or certain assistance, that you not just, it's something wrong with you for feeling lonely through it. No, that's a normal emotion. When you are raising and caretaking for people with autism, like I said, she's authentic with it. You know what I'm saying? You can see through their interaction in the videos that it's not just for the camera. Of course, people have their different opinions. They're gonna have an opinion about every channel, anybody who show what they choose to show on the internet. That you can't miss. For the most part, the communities that support her, they're not getting in her inbox and comments talking about why she does what she do. Or there are those though that's always gonna say you trying to do it for the monetization or come up off of their disability. No, she actually put the camera down and show us, look how my autistic loved one did their hair today. Look at how sometimes she'll just come in her room and rest her mind. I wouldn't say that's putting them on blast or display or nothing like that. She does it very much so for awareness purposes as well. And that's what I love about it too, just the authenticity and rawness of how she allows us in, you know what I'm saying, to see what it could really be like for anybody. And from what I learned so far, right, it's like, what observations did I have? Those loved ones trust her. The two girls and the son, they trust her. You can see that. Some things you can't stage for the video. Period. That's what I'm saying. That's a lot of time with people, camera footage and stuff, you gotta watch that, because just like you can sit there and record negativity, you can record positivity. But that's just something I've always paid attention to since The culture of camera has got grown. Camera technology, video camera footage. Of course, maybe people wouldn't be so quick to record what's negative if they didn't see the profit in it. See, we can sit there and put blame on those who share the negative stuff, but one part of it is if the negative stuff didn't exist at all, you wouldn't have nothing to record and share. But then again, not to cover for those that be doing it, but it's like, why are people quicker to record negativity than positive? Because I know they see positive. I think everybody wake up every day and see at least one positive thing in their life. Those that have the freedom and will of their lives right now, yeah, they just choose to record. Because like I said, culture and society has kind of made it like that. Like, oh, we're going to rush to views. You don't need no statistics. Just life shows you that. People run to the negative videos and commentary and everything. But like, when we see women like Aunt D, please respect them. Give them their flowers. Because they're not just pillars to their families. Like I said, it's many more Aunt Ds in the world. Whether they're mothers, grandmothers, nieces, cousins, like women. We can't just show them in the light of, look what women be doing in relationships. Look how she, half the time, really don't even have one or show us that side of her life because she's that selfless. Her kids with disability come first, or her job. Come here, sweetie, because she sleep. There's a bathroom right there. We'll get it in 1 second. Come on this way. You know, we respect the other obvious pillars in communities, right? Like crossing guards and just people that serve their public services. But yeah, anybody that's working in our schools, nursing homes, hospitals, caretaking for those that are really trying to heal in areas that they've become really ill in mental health ways, they deserve the utmost respect. I do give it that. I think I can't say it enough. It's one thing to do it at work, but to go to work day in, day out, and then come home and also give yourself in that same way. That ain't nothing but love. You're supposed to do it at home, right? But you care for your patients that you deal with at work every day, just like they're your family. I'm talking about, I hope I witness God bless her socks off. There's no way. That's why we tell everybody every day, life is short. There's just some parents that would like their kids to outlive them, but it realistically doesn't happen like that all the time. Rest in peace again to the loved one she just lost. Or if he's just missing, I can't wait to hear an update. Because I did see one update saying they found a body in the river under that bridge where she found his car, but I never remember them confirming, or maybe they haven't just yet. It's just, like I said, it's heavy, and it's not like even happening to me, but maybe you do have areas of her story where you can relate. It's one thing to just have 1, 2 people, 3 scattered in the family suffering from mental health, but really, when it's like in the bloodline like that, because she don't mind talking about it, and you suffer from it as the parent, and then your kids are born with it or something like that, and then we seeing her doing most of it, a lot of it by herself. That don't mean she always doing it by herself. It probably is a man, was a man, will be one. I just think she do a good job. She not more on her channel to show that all the time. I got a man helping me, with or without one. But it does make us look at something realistically. Men, they held to that standard too. You gotta be willing, you know what I'm saying, to ride till the wheels fall off, even if your child is born with a mental health disability. I don't understand that one. How it's so many single mothers with kids that, because we know there has been an increase in autism anyway. Statistics like babies who suffer from it. Children. So there's been other studies on the other side of that too, like reasons and conclusions people have put together of why they think these increases are happening too, because they aren't always genetic. But when they are, I'm giving respect where it's due. I ain't seen her give up on her babies. See, and that's the old school way that I'm just accustomed to and familiar with. And of course, you wouldn't judge a child suffering from mental health the way you would just, it's a child anyway, whether they have mental health or not. But you're probably more lenient or understanding or patient because you know that your child is probably suffering from a mental health illness they didn't even ask for. Like I said, some of this stuff is passed on down. And normalizing these conversations, making people aware. If something like autism run through your family, it do. Now, I'm not saying anybody has to sit back and accept it. I'm just saying, like, before you even realize it, where did you have control over something like that? You know what I mean? And why we shouldn't be so quick to judge people and then wonder why. Well, God, they just like me. I can compare myself to them. You don't know that because, like I said, not every disability just show on your face and t-shirt and shoulder every day. You know? Unless you get out there with some people, they have learned to coexist with what they suffer from so well, you wouldn't even know that doesn't mean that it's non-existent. And I just hope that her story be more of an awareness. Like I said, you can be doing everything you can possibly do right. I'm seeing that with the ages that her babies actually were, like got to, like adult age, and you know, maybe he couldn't communicate like, hey, I'm tired, or I'm tired of living like this, right? Because she have the young lady she caretake for, but the son, that's a whole male too. I don't know why, I just felt so easily moved to feel what he could have possibly been feeling. It's like maybe he still had sense enough to see that, like, man, it's like, I don't want my aunt struggling to do this for me and that for me. We don't think about what they have to go through. You know what I'm saying? Living with that. Maybe they do sit around sometimes like, I wish I just had a normal mental health, or I wish I just didn't need glasses, or I mean, we all have something about us that we wish we weren't born that way. Hopefully not too many, but there are a handful of people out there I know that literally probably have learned to hate themselves in the area of their life that they can't even control why they like that. Come on now. And this is why we preach and teach self-love too, because some things are just strictly hereditary. What do you mean? So you supposed to hate your family bloodline and where you come from because you inherited something? That's usually how it goes with DNA and blood and life. Where you just take control is where how you tell yourself that you're going to manage it. Anything that's not managed can get chaotic or out of control, pretty much. And manage is not slave master. Manage is not narcissist control. Manage is management, okay? They got medication management, anger management, teaching management. There's all kind of different levels of management, and then there's mental health illness management. That's just like you break your leg and they put it in a cast so it can heal. But if you never manage, nothing to help you manage the pain, nothing to help you manage to walk again after you've healed your legs, then you can expect things to get chaotic. There has to be management in the order. I don't care what it is you're going through. The more management, organization, routine we have in our lives, suffering from mental health or not, the more in control we can feel with our lives. And I just think that Aunt D does a great job as far as the management of multiple people than herself. You know what I'm saying? And managing what their mental health is like. Don't you think there's probably some days she don't want to get out the bed? caretake for everybody. She just want to be pampered. Still, she's not putting her own selfish needs before them. Channels like hers, more of them should be appreciated. And that's why they do end up trending or like popular channels because they're sharing more openness with us about what they're going through. I believe if she did lose her son, he's just gonna be a whole guardian angel over them. You know, some people become the guardian angels we didn't even know we needed. Just trying to give another word of inspiration for anybody, not just Aunt D at this time. Um, we could selfishly be like, God, why did you take somebody from me? But that's the best words I can put it in. I believe that some people very well, the day they was born, that was a part of their purpose too. What they would be doing in the afterlife to serve God's purpose. He seen it the day they was born. And so maybe he called people home sometimes because like I said, they're the guardian angel some little girl, little boy, man, woman, dog needed. I don't think people just be guardian angels as ancestors. And that's where the topic probably can get a little touchy for some people. I didn't say that I don't believe ancestors exist. I say that's just a whole lineage you're talking about of people that were born within the same bloodline. But what about when you talk about adoption and other ways that families are created? That's where it gets kind of deeper to me when it comes to us talking about ancestors. I'm more of a firm believer that, yeah, you can be called to be a guardian angel or a watching over ancestor for people other than just your family members. Or you could have people that are not your family member ancestors watching over you at any time. And I mean like in a way of guardianship, protection, or something like that, not in some haunting, ghostly way. You know what I mean? I think it's something very special about all of her children and the way that they use their light to share their stories and what it's like to be them and live in a world every day. And I can't say it enough. Thank you, Aunt D. You know what I'm saying? Some of us are sharing that pain with you. I hope she wouldn't think she's sharing it alone because if we're in a black community anyway, we know that, mental health is very real. I think by now, 2025, and a lot of people are not managing it. That's where I was talking about on another stream earlier when I was talking about Rod Wave and his baby mama. Like, some people are just not managing it at all. They can't even tell you the last time they thought about, and it's not to down anybody. Anything I state on this live today are just my opinions, commentary, and perception, my reaction. We're sharing that pain with her. See, people love to come around and share your goodness, your money, you know what I'm saying, those positive things, but where are those authentic people that's still willing to share your pain with you? And that's not going to be a lot of people. But, she's a special lady if she got subscribers like me coming out saying, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You're not carrying that alone, man. Every day she not. I'm not just saying that to make her feel better. Every day she's not. There are totally other people going through situations daily, like fighting through their mental health illnesses as we speak and fighting to learn better ways every day. They can manage their diet better. They can manage their routine better. They can manage the things they do, you know what I'm saying? Then you got some communities that they straight up like, hey, mental health ain't real. When somebody's dealing with schizophrenia, bipolar, it just got to be a demon. I've seen every level of people's opinions with mental health in the black community. No, why can't be that person really was born with bipolar or really was born with autism, schizophrenia? Like, why gotta be some kind of demonic attachment? I'm not saying that those are not real either. Y'all know I very much well believe on the other side, but We want to put things in the right category so people ain't got to feel ashamed or withdrawn from sharing what it's like to be them. It's selfish to tell somebody because they're in the disabled community, nobody cares about what they go through. You have to get to a point where you're ready to tell your story. Like, ain't nobody walking in your shoes like you. It's crazy too, man. Like, just giving moments of peace and quiet where I can, just out of respect for her family, her son. It's like my heart go out. I'm telling you, that's why I keep doing these pauses. Like, she's not carrying that burden alone at all. Like, her loss was our loss when that victim was a mental health patient. Somebody who try his hardest every day to smile and live his life regardless of how his mind operates. How can you help people going through that become more aware? Next time you're in a grocery store, you see somebody fighting a 22-year-old, trying to hold her hands and keep her from knocking stuff over, and you think that 22-year-old is just drunk. That 22-year-old could have autism, schizophrenia, bipolar, social anxiety, right? It's not just about mastering the art of minding our business, but actually becoming more aware. So maybe if that person is in an emergency in public with that loved one that they have mental health spells sometimes, you might can be even of assistance just because you're more aware. You might can step in and ask that person, "Where do you need some help? I see you trying to shop, right?" And don't just always conclude something wrong with people or call them crazy. You could be calling them crazy, but the next time somebody tell me somebody crazy, actually, I'm gonna tell them, well, what exactly mental health disability are you claiming that they have? Because when you say somebody crazy, what are you saying? Why are you not encouraging them to get help? Or is it induced by trauma, or were they born with it? Have more questions with people. Don't just take, well, such and such said they crazy, so we thought they was crazy. It's lazy. It puts those people in that community in a more vulnerable position because people don't know what they're going through. Then they only can seek professionals to help them. You don't have to be a professional to get your head in a book, get on Google, learn a little bit more about how children and adults and elderly can suffer from mental illness. And like I said, sometimes induced mental illness, sometimes you're born with it. It's simple. You don't have to be a professional. And so many people shouldn't just have to straight out go seek out professionals just to try to understand themselves better. That's just how not up to par people are with it. And I don't care what side of the world you go on, they already have a patient over there with schizophrenia. No matter what corner of the earth you find, somebody has bipolar. Nobody find it interesting? Somebody has PTSD. So the division, or just saying it's more prevalent in the certain minority communities, is not necessarily true. Any part of the world you go to, somebody suffering from mental illness, straight up, and there's a loved one somewhere still holding on by the thread, trying to not write their family member off just because of that. I've seen all kind of races of disabled people. Once again, somebody being able to have all the activities of their limbs and do stuff every day does not mean they don't suffer from mental illness. But see, we let people glamour us in that way. We say, well, this person got a car, a house, a business, and a husband and a wife. They must have it all. And next thing you know, you want that person's life. You don't know, but you didn't know the internal battles what it was like to be them every day. So you got to be careful desiring to want uh, the lives of other, which I'm going to keep normalizing that topic. Not just telling people be yourself, but maybe throwing those teachings of inspiration in there too, of why we're telling people that, why people told me, why I didn't listen, how I learned. I ain't got that deep in it yet, but Um, like I said, anything with management gets better. It might not ever fully get back to normal capacity, like how your leg was before it was ever broken. But with management, therapy, medication, the right vitamins, right? Management, straight up management. And sometimes people with loved ones who need this management, yes, it's going to require them to cut everything out of their life at that time and put that loved one first. That's a whole, not just, when I say token of love, that shows the love of that person for whoever they're caretaking for. Your life changes. Aunt D channel shows us that once you say, okay, I'm putting my life on the line, I'm right here, this is my baby, so I'm going to get through this mental health illness with my baby. I just want one person to leave in the comments, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with anybody making that decision in their life and saying, I'm going to put my baby's mental health first, my husband, wife, mental health first, okay? I'm not just sending them to therapies and hoping that they make it out. I'm actually supporting them through the journey. What's that, like, intervention? When people, because they say sometimes drug addiction is a form of mental illness, right? That's how we can see it on people. Drug addiction, that's another example. And that's an example of how the people will sit together and try to have an intervention with the person. That's why I say it ain't always what we're doing to help that person, is how we're doing it. Because that's another one of those things, like I talked about domestic violence earlier. Some of this stuff don't come with a direct guidebook like, all right, you found out this person is autistic at 5. This is how you should go about it from the age of 5 for the rest of their life. Because see, the thing about people with autism, they still have their own personalities. They know what they like to eat and not eat. They know who makes them comfortable and uncomfortable. That's what I'm saying about being careful about calling people crazy. Autism never meant unaware. You see what I'm saying? Schizophrenia never meant unaware. Bipolar don't mean unaware. They wake up and go to sleep as the sun rises and falls just like everybody else. It's the miseducation and the unawareness that seems sickening sometimes. You know what I mean? Just like I spoke on D's behalf, I'm speaking on mine too. Ain't nobody finna come out and just allege somebody suffering for no mental health just for likes and views. That's why even if I personally do, I'll never come out and publicly say it. I already know how people are. They swear you just saying it for clout or victim. What they call it? Attention. You just trying to share. Hey, this is what it's like being me every day. They want to put the people in the category crazy that they want to and just call it crazy. Sorry, on the education level, that's not how that works. You calling them crazy, well, what is it? Bipolar, schizophrenia, PTSD? How long have they suffered with it? Were they born with it? Ask people more questions. You can't just walk up on me talking about somebody. Some people will put it like that. Such and such went crazy. And if their word went is in there, I know that person wasn't crazy before. If the words went or gone, such and such has gone crazy. Kanye West went crazy. It's something about those stories. When it says went, gone, going, then they weren't born with it. Okay? Understanding that part of the combo here first, because I did want to piggyback off her story to take this opportunity and give more awareness where I can too, from my experience. It's not using her story for clout or views. It's like, look at this real story and let's talk about awareness one more time, Black community. For real, man. Once again, it should not take tragedy and our heart goes out in condolences before people are willing to learn more about autism. Depression. Why am I mentioning depression? Depression could have been a factor to why her son was even feeling maybe suicidal to begin with. Yes, doors like depression, anger, isolation, people feeling that way is what usually leads them to those thoughts. Okay? Who have we ever heard they were born suicidal? Y'all leave in the comments for me. Huh? Y'all tell me. Who in the world was born depressed? See, some of these mental things they call disabilities, I'm just looking at a little deeper for a second. Now, some of those might be what they call demonic attachments. Because come on now, if the person wasn't even born with it, carrying it as a burden, where in the world did it come from? If it's worldly, you know what I mean? Sorry, y'all. I left off talking about the difference, I say, where we should include the possibility of spiritual answers when it comes to mental health and where we shouldn't. Okay, if you say a lot of people in your family born with autism, that's like understandable. You would see something like that is generational, right? Like more something somebody couldn't control. If you say, oh, Jack started suffering from depression at 10, you know that was some more of a mental health where they probably kind of blacked out somewhere in their brain and then depression came in. That's not something you're born with. Anxiety, who's born anxious? Maybe those that came out with parents who might have done drugs or was on medicine or something. They come out a little anxious. But overall, who's just born full of anxiety, y'all? Look how some of these emotions are induced versus emotions that's still part of induced and emotions you picked up over the years through some type of okay, we gotta watch certain emotions. You can't help what you feel now. You gotta be real with yourself. You feel what you feel. Hopefully this inspires somebody. I know it ain't many people joining in with me live just yet, but I'm actually dropping so many gems. um that should be a word of encouragement. You know what I'm saying? Encouraging people to pay attention to where mental health barriers seem induced and where they were hereditary. One is not worse than the other. Either way, you're suffering from some type of illness, but it does help you better pinpoint your healing, in my opinion. Like, okay, like I said, if a person noticed 10 generations suffer from autism, or they only noticed just the past 3 suffer from autism, people will see a lot. How far back does this go? In some people families, they found out ever since the 1800s. The people in their family had a anger management problem. Yes, some of y'all feel like anger is not hereditary. That's why I'm saying you have to look at that for your own lineage. You like what you saying, Arthur, Speaker, Tedder, Sherry? Anger can be inherited? Yeah. The mismanagement of anger? Very well so. Because everybody get angry. I'm saying how anger slowly turns into this and that and that over there. That's what anger will do. That's why I personally, I wouldn't tell y'all nothing just for the benefit of views. I had to personally get to know anger better to even know some of what I'm saying today. Because yes, the mismanagement of it, oh boy. And I was speaking on how the miseducation, the mismanagement of something like anger could turn into generational or hereditary problems. Okay? What's another one? Stress. The mismanagement of stress could be misunderstood or mistaken for something like anxiety. I think I'm onto something here. The whole time that person ain't got anxiety, they have not learned to I'm not saying anxiety, mental health illness is not real. Like some people, I think at the end of the day, anxiety is just a mismanagement of stress, of feelings that you have not grown. You just know you feel it. You get older, you even know what to call it when you have that feeling. But until you learn how to manage that feeling, what is it? It's a feeling. And it can be a dangerous feeling, depending on what it is. And then you just go all those years not learning how to manage it. Okay? An emotion is just an emotion for all those years. If you never learn how to manage it, and then that something like that could be hereditary. Mom after mom, dad after dad, grandma after grandma, not teaching the younger generations. Hey, this is a better way to manage your anger, or let's practice ways. You really love them, you want them to find 20, 30 more ways than none of how to manage it than just to manage it in a way where they're not managing it all and it's landing them in trouble. You know what I mean? It's landing them in all kind of trouble, whether it's health wise, legally wise. You know what I'm saying? Emotions, they run deep. They do run deep in some people. I'm saying more people should look at. They'll be all right if they just look at why they really angry. How they really learned to manage that anger. What else was I gonna say? Has anybody ever took the time to justify their anger? Because some people it's that too. They been got over the anger. They just tired of people making them feel like the anger's not justified or something. Like they're crazy for being angry. They're crazy for being stressed. They're crazy for having anxiety. I'm telling y'all, a lot of that is not mental illness. It's just mismanaged emotions. And then it could look like mental illness. It gets mistaken for that because your emotions are all over the place. I wish there was some therapists coming in. It's gonna get to that level though. I was gonna say therapists, ministers, spiritual counselors from around the world who could leave their thoughts and opinions too, or tell me what they think about what I'm getting out of these observations. You know what I mean? Um, could it be that we really could scratch at least 10 what we call mental health disability, or keep them there, keep the diagnosis there in the book, but normalizing how we manage these? Because see, really school is about education. It's going to be specific subjects that they target growing these students in from an early age. Now they're going to have a counselor's office, but I'm saying the education is not based around emotions and how to manage your emotions. Shout out to you guys out there in the chat. Do y'all agree though? Like school is not surrounded by, hey everybody, good morning. Today they teach you the emotion chart, but the whole lesson, they just gonna make sure you know what happy mean, depressed mean, embarrassed, like show you the faces on the emotion chart. But as far as the curriculum, it's not just, probably not in any country. It's not just based around, good morning class. Today we're finna learn about emotions and how when this one is mismanaged, yeah, you don't get that deeper into studies about it unless you, number one, do it on your own and be learning it at home. Number two, get in a little higher grades, maybe like middle school, high school, college. Most definitely, you actually can get access directly about emotions and therapy and mental health illness. But it shouldn't take people getting over the age of 18, almost 18 years old, to just, oh, yeah, maybe I can learn about. I just say it's as crucial. We have English, we have language arts, math, science, social studies. And then there's no class for emotions. Just behavioral, what is it? Not behavioral studies, but behavioral, like they have guidelines, protocols they go by when somebody can't manage their emotions at school. And this starts at school at an early age. What I'm saying is at school, It's just more education based structure. And most teachers have no problem telling you that. Like, hey, we expect your kid on an emotional level, behavioral level to kind of already be up to par in that way when they come to school. That's not something we directly teach about. I'm not here to down it. I say it doesn't hurt at any point to more incorporate it in the classes. That way nobody's feeling touchy about it. You're not exactly bringing religion or spirituality straight into school. I'm not against it though. I'm saying that this is another option too. Well, bring in the normalization of classes that are aimed directly at caretaking for the emotional health and mental health of the youth long before they're in middle school. Because you could say that's the responsibility of the foster home, the guardians, the parents, but don't y'all know they've been saying that for years and not every kid is still getting everything they need at home. Boom. So where they going? To the public school where it's required for them to be by law. I'm not complaining about school or how it's been, but there are not many with classes. Just I would say a class like that should start as early as when you start teaching kids the emotional chart. Sesame Street and PBS Kids and cartoons, they're not. I mean, they teach a little bit about emotions, but I'm saying that shouldn't be the only places where our kids get intel and intelligence about their own emotional intelligence and how to, when they actually are able to fundamentally understand. If they can get to the age where they understand this is a smiley face, this means happy. This is an angry face, this means angry. This is a surprise face. This means surprise. As soon as they can understand that, I would say they're about ready to learn how to also manage not just emotions, but maybe you got a child that deal with stronger emotions. All kids need attention, but think about a kid that might deal with stronger emotions on a day-to-day basis. How much more attention they need. All that time you used to have to give to 10 and 20 friends, you don't have that no more. You have multiple kids, but you have maybe two out the group that actually even need more attention than what you were used to. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It ain't nobody business either. But like I said, we still respect those that are not fearful of being transparent for the well-being and awareness of communities outside of their home, mental health wellness communities, spiritual communities, all kind of other healthy communities. You know what I'm saying? For example, there might be 1,000 upon millions of spiritual communities out there, haunting stories. I know that's two different things, but I'd rather use haunting stories, for example. Okay, so even with the million haunting stories out there, every day that a new one come out, people gonna have the same reaction, which is pretty much they're usually interested in hearing or learning more about it. They're gonna have the same reaction as they had to some of the other haunting stories. And every haunting story, I can guarantee you, is probably a little different. You know what I mean? What I'm saying, some things are just going to be awareness topics for as long as we can think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to always exist. So that was the best example I could give with that. Like, you're going to hear a million haunted stories. And then if you hear a new one today, tomorrow, next week, it's still going to get the same level of reaction out of people. Right? Even if the reaction is just intrigued, concerned, appalled, scared. You know what I'm saying? It gets the same reaction. Okay, so now how does this correlate to mental health? It's one of those things, again, that gets the same reaction. Yes, they were doing mental health studies in the 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, 1800s. Really, we can go deeper about it when it comes to how long people have been studying not only the human anatomy, but the human brain. And the mind and how it works and what it can do for us when we use it to its 100% capacity, whether that's for good or for wicked. Okay, They've been studying the mind and what it could do a very, very, very long time. And it's crazy how even when the mind gets to its darkest place, that has been studied. Like, it can do that. And people still want to pretend that mental health is not real. Or they think they're doing something now saying, okay, well, we admit that mental illness is very real. That's not enough. Okay, you're admitting a fact. Are you making yourself aware? Are you educating yourself? Just because you don't have somebody like that in your immediate family don't mean your neighbor don't. Or the people down the street, the next state, the next country. I don't believe I live in a bubble just because I'm in a house more times than I've ever been probably in my whole life. Well, since I was a youth, I just be in a house by choice. That don't mean I'm in a bubble. The people who choose not to make themselves aware of issues of the world are in the bubble. See, it's all about perception, especially if you use perception in a positive way. You use perception to its highest good. Perception could be used for its lowest purposes too, where somebody says, I want you to perceive me this way, and they know they're that way. And like I said, at the end of the day, to me, everything goes back to intention. It's different somebody who doesn't know what they're doing because their mental illness is an illness. All people can do is argue that all day and say, no, that person ain't ill. They know what they're doing. They know what they said. We'll say that a lot too when we see people under the influence or under the influence or intoxicated. You know what I'm saying? That's another category of people, right? That taught me something. In humanitarianism, I would never hold somebody to, let me try to find the right words. Now, don't eat them all. Let's say the other one for the baby. Please, save her some. All right, where was I at? Like, I'm not going to judge probably a person who was not intoxicated the same as I would judge the person that's intoxicated. Like, if you did something and you're under the influence, I have no choice but to consider that you were under the influence. I can't just listen to what you did. And it would teach me even more about people under the influence, depending on whether they remember if they did it or not, right? Okay, intoxication, drugs, all that, how does that come into this topic? None of these kids, not that I've read about or seen, do drugs. Because some people with mental health illness, they do. I'm not here to judge them. They manage it with certain medicines or, like I said, just a drug of their preference. They just do that. That's their life. But with her family and story, they don't. I hope that makes sense. I know people think lowly for the most part about alcohol and drugs, but the reality, my awareness tells me that it's been a way for a long time that people have turned to, you know what I'm saying, for anything close to comfort or management when it comes to their mental health illnesses. We didn't say it's right, but that's a fact. When I think about how the Western days probably were when they had real sheriffs in town and everything, boondocks and huts. I don't know why I brought them up because when I think of that culture, like the cowboy days, Wild West, and down south, and all of this, you always see them with their things of whiskey. I don't care what art painting you look at, Bonanza show you watch. If you look at that culture, I'm just taking people back for a second. Like when it comes to how long, kind of. I'm not saying everybody back then drank because they had a mental illness. That's not what I'm saying. But back then, yep, they drank whiskey. They drank moonshine. What else was they drinking? Probably stuff stronger than what we think we have out here today. Okay? Don't sleep on the predecessors. We don't know. Actually, what I see, whatever they were doing back then, they lived cheaper. They were more conservative. They were more organized. Everything wasn't so all about convenience. People had to wait. People were used to being patient and waiting on things. I would say even back then, though, there were people born with disabilities, mental health ones. That's why I was trying to make people look at again how long mental health studies have been around. And then people always go straight to that, like, well, that person mental health was bad because they get to the point where they don't want to live no more. It's an interesting topic because I'm not saying I defend suicide at all, but it's like a person didn't even ask to live. See, y'all really don't know the kind of people I've already talked to, maybe give advice in life before. People trust me with certain questions. They be right. Like, you right, brother or sister, you didn't ask to live, right? Or none of us probably asked to come here. When they hit me with that one, it's not always about challenging my faith or what I'm going to respond. Some people really want actually a deeper perception, or they're willing to at least hear it from another viewpoint uh, before they just ultimately feel however they feel. I promise some people are like that. And I wouldn't say that's codependent. It's just like the song by Bill Withers. We all need somebody to lean on. The frequency that we vent can be different for others. Make sure you make it clear. If you just need to vent, vent. If you are looking for a new perception, like I just described, some people be looking for a new insight because maybe what you're going through is that deep. And it ain't always about, I'm going to go ask Sarah because she's wise. Not to take from the wise that walk amongst us. God can use a fool, but that's just something I'm aware of. But you want probably somebody with experience who know what you're going through. That's what I think is a blessing about Undi's family and those youngsters that she look after. Like, they have somebody. They don't have just a caretaker or a loved one. They have somebody that absolutely understands what they're going through because she herself suffers from it. Tell me that's not powerful. And that I'm going to keep inspiring and encouraging her channel, her family, everything, because that's inspiring. And I don't get easily moved. Can I tell people that safely? Like, I don't get easily moved anymore. I'm nobody to move. God even know that about me, and that's how I know he real too, because, like, he's moved me a lot. He moved me. Yeah, because maybe I wasn't the first one God knew that's like, oh, I'm not easily impressed. I'm not easily... What, like, when you're a woman, right, in the culture of dating, they might call you... What's they called? I ain't gonna say a tease. That's one. That's one. Or they might call you playing hard to get. What y'all know about it? So, I'm just describing how some people can... Sometimes their hearts are hardened in some areas, and they can, quote unquote, play hard to get, if you will, with God, if it were even possible. Like, they say all things are possible with God, so he could allow, a person in their self-will to think, you know what I'm saying, that they're playing hard to get with him. I don't know, it just showed me a lot more about God. Like, he could be like a gentleman too. Like, he understands somebody that's like that. Like, oh, okay. But it wouldn't be a whole reason he shunned them or use it. It might be more in a joke. They say there's truth in jokes because God can't lie. But God, I feel like he do, make his own, and only those who understand and know God in certain ways would find it funny. Just like we have inside jokes with one another, and some people just is what it is. They play hard to get with God. Not with a man, not with a woman, not with a job opportunity. I'm talking about, especially if it's their first beginning journey, of learning God and them allowing God to know them more and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying God don't already know people, because people would take your words like verbatim and twist them. We know this, but, it's different somebody just knowing you How many of y'all done grew up and somebody said, I remember you, you don't remember me? And a family member tell you, yeah, this is such and such. You used to be around them all the time. This your babysitter. And you don't remember them at all. But it would be up to you at that point if you don't remember them and you grown or something, or it's later in life to open up to them and just let them in on who you are now, right? It's the same thing with a relationship with God. It would be a choice in a way for you to open up and say, "Ooh, I want you to know me. I want you to be on me." That person might know you already anyway, even in real life. You just don't remember them, or you didn't see them watching you, or life is interesting. They might already know you. So, just a word of encouragement. I'm saving y'all, sparing y'all some. Do not try to play hard to get with God. If He wants to get you, He usually wins. The devil don't want me to know it or probably speaking on it, but it's true. Now, some they might play hard to get. He's like, God might just look at you like, who are you that my love is not sufficient? That's all that situation leads to. Like, what you mean you hard to get? I might already know you, right? What do I think about God when it relates to mental health illness? I believe God knows that like kind of what I was speaking on. Like, I think that He even knows that it's real. Even when I went back talking about history, how people back then they could be labeled witches, crazy, insane. Also, mental health, brain, and studies go way back to ancient. They just do. I'm sure they do. Even if I don't know everything about it, I'm already a believer of that. God knows what we're born with, what's induced, what we picked up along the way. I wouldn't even look at it that way if it wasn't for God. So that's why I believe, I'm already convinced He's real. He knows what we were born with. I was trying to give impressions or examples of like ways a person could know you before you could think you know yourself. I'm saying ways a person could know you, the way you think you know yourself, and then how you could get to learn yourself in ways that people ain't even learned. Isn't life beautiful? I'm not saying everybody embrace mental health, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. I still believe that. And a person who love themselves shouldn't have to love themselves any less because they're born with a mental health disability, or because it's induced or they picked it up along the way. Y'all know bad habits, we can pick those up. I just was wondering, am I the only one who would talk about it? Some things we pick up, some things passed on. That's all I was trying to say. And when it's passed on, sometimes you don't have the ability to say, I don't want this. But I am the one to talk about it. I talk about the impossible all the time. You can say, no, I don't want to live with this no more. You can be a miracle for God if you want to. The miracle, you could just talk about the prayer part, but the miracle would be you seeing it transpire, actually like manifest after you believe you pray to God. Ain't that something? I believe we all have the power to manifest, but do we talk about enough that sometimes you could be manifesting something in the wrong time, the wrong place, the wrong hour? I know I already said time, but they just be like, manifest this in 2 days, 48 hours. I'll never mock other dreamers and visionists. You know what I mean? I've already realized they come in all different forms, shapes. But it's like, I think with that, I would never tell people to not dream big, but you would want to be careful in that way. Spiritually, mentally. Because you put too much of your hope or all your eggs in a basket in one place, and the whole time you was doing it at the wrong time. What was the point of it? You manifested it all right, but did you do it in the right place at the right time? Did you do it with the right person, the right people, in the right environment? Did you have enough of what you needed? How long did it last? Anyways, let that be another whole gem of inspiration when it comes to how we look upon the lives of others. Okay, you're slower to covet, slower to envy, slower to look down on somebody when you already understand. You have no idea what that person probably went through to get in the position that they're in. Which, like I said, nobody's out here negatively talking about Aunt D from what I've seen. If anything, we're all in it with her as far as like feeling it. I know I am. A loss, any loss is sad, especially when it's like not just a loved one, but your own child. And we're not talking about like custody, because her kids are like older. But that type of loss, I'm feeling it with her. Um, that's those perfect situations actually where, to use for example, where it is okay to lean into God, lean into others. A lot of people whole lose their mind just over losing somebody, and y'all don't think mental health can be induced or triggered by certain things, and you weren't even born with it. I didn't want to start like using names for example or nothing like that. Like you can tell when a person, okay, they used to look more wholesome, more lively, woo woo woo. It looks like some mental health is going on. Sometimes it's visible, sometimes it's not. I'm happy that people they more look at her experiences in a positive way. They know that it takes a lot of energy and time. That's just not something we say. People who work with mental health or have been close or have a loved one themselves where they live through that. That's not just something they say, that it's more their energy and time when they are caretaking for a disabled person, even if you're a nurse aide. That's whole energy and time. That's why they have them work on shifts. It's not to make the disabled feel bad. It's understanding both sides, okay, y'all? Or in giving my best to give my reaction in an insightful way where we are more raising awareness. If anybody ever thought those were just a group of people, the most vulnerable is that you could, nope, uh, look down on, talk about, it doesn't make sense. It's like laughing at a person because they were born with 6 fingers on one hand. It's childish. It shows the unawareness, the immaturity, everything it can show about it negative. You know what I mean? You got different breeds of birds. A bird is a bird, but it's different breeds though. They like, what you mean, Arthur Taylor Sherry? Y'all know how I talk, but it's different breeds of birds. You look crazy sitting up there laughing at a bird because you ain't never seen it before. You look crazy calling that bird crazy because it's even doing something in the wild that you never seen birds do. Uh-huh. You look crazy even trying to capture such a rare. I mean, on a photo is one thing, but just really trying to capture it and make it live in captivity, and it's a bird you ain't even seen before. How selfish is that? Let it be in a museum or something out there in the wild where it can make more birds and other people can enjoy its beauty, you know? So we love people like Aunt D from You Will Make It TV to another who they don't have time to be ashamed of it. It's just like the bird analogy I gave. She already probably understand life in that way. Like, we all come into this world different. And we don't have time for the communities of people, families, anybody, friends who don't understand how much more time and energy it might take to upkeep something different. Okay? They could say, oh, it's just autism awareness and that's their story. Like, no, it's humanitarianism in its purest form. It's love undiluted, to give to your community at a public place, hospital, nursing home, private care, and then turn around and go do it at home. Person like that deserve more than roses, flowers. I just wish nothing but miracles and blessings on that woman. She don't have time and energy to be ashamed of her plate. She embraces her plate. She eats her plate like a woman. You know what I mean? She probably like, who this young lady talking about me this highly? I highly respect. Maybe I should go there and comment how I feel too. You know, she really does keep some of us strong out here, help to keep us strong, inspire us. Y'all might say, who walking around ashamed that they disabled people anyway? I'm not saying everybody is, but you do have that probably small handful of community of people that still, and we don't judge them. They're just miseducated. What is you gonna walk around in shame for, and you know your loved one is suffering from a mental health disability? You just not gonna do that. Some not. Now you can let whoever in around you feel like they have secondhand embarrassment. They don't know what's going on. Let them feel how they feel. A disability like a broken leg, you don't have to explain that to people, do you? They already see it. You got a cast on. You walking with crutches, a cane, a wheelchair. That's a disability you can see. We're not punishing nobody or talking down nobody for the unseen. We're talking about until you see, don't doubt certain stuff. And I'm not even just talking about God right now. Like, just don't do that. It's a word of inspiration. Even if you can't see the disability, that don't mean the person lying. Some are induced. What did we say? Some are picked up along the way. Not just mental illness. Some babies weren't born with a cold, but they have a cold. The Christmas year of their second Christmas. You see what I mean? Mental health is the same way. Be careful speaking on others' situation. Be careful judging it. Be careful. Period. And that don't mean you have to walk on eggshells. Auntie don't walk on eggshells around her house. But she might live according to the accommodations needed for those that surround her. Look how far gone people's perceptions be. Just because a mother might be in the same situation as Auntie, but her kids are not as older. Either way, like I said, it would be a challenge. It's a challenge having multiple for anybody. Even if you have a classroom full of kids with mental health disabilities. That's a challenge that you need to be trained for, really, when it's in an educational setting or like a hospital setting. But let's give the parents some mercy because you probably didn't have no training. And that's something people get whole specialized training. With a mother or father, that ain't nothing but love carrying them. And they said that love is the drive. They said, well, I'll learn what I need to do. We'll learn where we can go and get help. We'll learn what helps to ease you or sleep at night. We'll see what's triggering it. All that matters. All that matters. If y'all just think she learned her kids like the back of her hand overnight, you're crazy. Her or any other parent. That's a natural part of life. Your children are going to evolve. They're going to get older. They're going to grow into who they are. You just can look at yourself as the coach. Like, I've seen mental health illness lead people places, dark places. That's what I said. I said that in about 44 minutes ago into this segment. You know what I'm saying? Why it moves me, the topic. Why it'll always be an important awareness topic as long as I'm a speaker. You know what I mean? People can't watch you suffer for something and don't think you have a few war stories, inspirational stories, whatever they want to call it. And Aunt D is going to have them too. she's going to have her own stories of what she survived, conquered, learned, being a caretaker of loved ones with mental health disabilities. It's not about blasting this one or that one or putting this one on the spot. When they ready to use me for a canvas too, I mean, as a probably presentation story. You know what I mean? Because I could talk about it on many levels. You know what I'm saying? I just don't feel like, I feel like another Aunt D, and all I go through, I'm not about to give up on who depends on me who might be suffering from mental illness. I wouldn't willingly do that. And that's where women like me and Aunt D do. That's not something everybody gonna understand, but we might be more like praying women. We ask God to help us through our circumstances. We ask for strength. I can't speak for Aunt D, but I know how you know what I'm saying, look up to the heavens, look up to God for more faith. You can't just say, I got faith, and you living off that faith the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? It's like gas, and you got to refuel. If I give it from my own experience and testimony. And it's like through every refueling, something is happening. It's not like a car where eventually, after so many years, it's going to break down. I guess you could look at it that way with our bodies, in this soul contract with God, but faith is like a refueling every time. Another situation happened, where's my faith? Another testing situation happened, I gotta refuel, I need some more faith. Do I have enough to get through this? That's how loss can make us feel too, though. Where you begin to question your strength. Anything, I just said loss was a good example, depending on what type of loss it is. I know we talk about how our faith is tested, not just as mental health, illness caretakers and stuff, but just in everyday life. Your faith might be tested. I hope that inspires somebody today, from Arthur to the Sharon, and You Will Make a TV channel. Faith should actually, nothing is wrong if you feel like that. What I just described, faith is a refueling process. If they were looking for your faith to be a lifestyle, that's a new perception. You just woke up every morning and thought the lifestyle should look a certain way. Just because you witnessed, like, that person had another situation, and I saw how they initially reacted to it. Had they went and refueled on faith yet? That's what I would ask them. Did they give? I don't know. It depends on who you're talking about. Did they? Oh, okay. They must have needed to go refuel on faith. Faith. And what does that look like? Asking God, I need a little more strength. I need a little more faith. I'm gonna need a little more energy. But straight faith. What was I finna get to? The second level of what I was finna say about faith, though. The strong, unwavering, unmoving belief in something. Okay? That's what faith is to me. And if it doesn't feel like you have to refuel sometimes, I don't know, because it should. I know it say we only need a mustard seed, but sometimes, depending on the loss, you don't know if you have that. And it's okay to pray in secrecy, solitude. Nobody even got to know. You ain't got to move your lips. God know your heart. God know your mind. The devil know it, so you better understand, give God credit where it's due. He know your heart and mind too. Especially when we're dealing with mental health illness, he knows your heart and mind. Give him a chance. God, I might need help with my faith. And then you probably have a story to prove, many stories to prove. Me personally, yep, I refuel on faith every day. Y'all thought that was a one-time occurrence? I found faith one day, and then that's really kind of what happened, though. I never let it go. It's like I found eco fuel. What I was using, it was burning out too fast. But when I found my faith, you know what I'm saying? When I found my strength, and then that's a process in itself, learning, hey, it's okay for this to be an everyday affair. It's okay for this to be a one day at a time battle. Any battle in your life. Then see if that mental health is real. It don't mean it never existed. It means slowing down. Where's my faith now? Where was my faith then? Did I have to refuel on faith? If I did, what caused me to feel like I had no faith? You see what I'm saying? And looking at those situations. Because you're going to have situations. Me, I know why on a level now, but some of us, we might even feel like, hey, I deal with the most test-based situations back to back to back ever. They could only make a stronger or get a person in a mindset if they're not trying to let their faith go. Like, well, I'm gonna just ask God for more faith every time. Every time I feel like the devil, the enemy trying to steal it from me. Me believing that God can do all things, outstretch his hand forth and do mighty things we have never seen, because that's what the great book says. He said, I'll show you things that you've never seen. I just don't want to scare nobody with the scriptures right now and how they might correlate for a real believer who might know some of the darknesses of mental illness herself and what it could lead to. They don't want you to talk about that, but it has to be talked about. Not everybody is managing that. So if you're not managing it, what did I say? It gets worse. You better believe, I believe you can ask God for, you can ask for a little more every day, just like you got to go get gas. You might fill up for the week. Faith is like that too. Maybe I got a little stronger. Like, all right, God, it's the month of May. Go on and fill me up for the month. Because I already know it's probably going to be some blows here and there coming. What do I mean by blows? Unexpected circumstances. And nobody can deny your faith if you can describe them as unexpected. Circumstance is a circumstance. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean it's planned for. It's just a circumstance. We all have those. But those unplanned and unexpected ones, we have those too. But yes, that's what trials and tribulation periods are about. Those periods where it's like back to back to back to back testing. Not everybody go through that. We gotta admit that. We might have, can all relate in different seasons in our life where we probably have. Like, no, I remember that time in '98. That whole year I had back to back faith testing. We can all go back in our life. Like, hey, where did I lose faith in love? Where did I lose faith in light? Cause man, I'm telling you, I bet there's some inspiring stories out there. People just don't take the time to like think about it. Cause a ill loved one, a loss of a loved one, that is, I'm giving people that is a testing of your whole faith. Depending on how attached you were to that person too. How close you were to them. That's what I call it. And so you say, I'm going to need more faith. Then the refueling begins to happen. Because, you know, just like every month, like I said, I feel like I feel up on faith. You could not do that. You cannot do that at all. Just not feel like you have any type of faithful life at all and just go about. And just see what happens. Some of us, it's funny how the scriptures say, too, the just, Just, shall live by faith. As if, you know, they kind of need that. They got to like, hey, I need a little more strength. It ain't just strength, though, when it's faith, because it's actually more you. Man, do I want to go that deep? It's more you. If they want to talk about sacrifices, faith, and you step forward daily in like a little more faith, God, a little more faith, God, a little more faith. Help me to keep it type of prayer. You know what I'm saying? I just encourage people to read that scripture again. If the just shall live by faith, we just have to look up the term of just, what it means in Latin, in Greek, in Hebrew. The just shall live by faith. That tells me right there is absolutely nothing wrong. Each step of your journey, through every loss, through every downward spiral, through every dark place, you can bring faith with you. It's a lot of different people though. They just kind of be more in the public when it comes to their internet presence that I pray for. They don't have to know. They don't have to know that you wish the best for them and you're sending them positive vibes and wishes. But we are from You Will Make It TV to your family. We thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to Aunt D's family and everybody. We send love, light, and healing, peace that way. Um, she still has all of our support. I think I speak for the supporters. Uh, and once again, we are very sorry for the loss, or if he is missing, we hope it's just that. But I think they were saying they had already found somebody in the water by the bridge where his car was. That's why I was following the story. And she's actually asking us to keep her in our prayers um, and positive thoughts at this time. That's humble for somebody to ask for that, because that's a lot for people to do sometimes. But when they ask that, they don't mean start sending them ill will intent. I'm saying it for Aunt D and myself. If somebody come out and publicly ask for positive prayers and because they're going through something, like, hey, I'm asking God for more faith through something I'm going through right now, then listen to them. Because we quick to just call somebody crazy when they're in mental health or they go through a spiral of drugs. Don't you know people have to get to a low, dark place to pretty much, you know what I'm saying, get so far going in addiction they just don't care no more. And that's a whole step before suicide sometimes. So it's not trying to just beat the depression out of people. You don't want it to be that either, but you definitely let them know you there as much as you can. It's a million ways to say you love people, if you ask me. The smallest gestures. That's why they say it's the thought that count, not the gift. With other situations, you know, but it's definitely ways you can check on people, be positive in your community, have places and settings that people can come to where they are away from the pressures of the world. Because everybody ain't got $50,000 to go on vacation. They probably like, where are you trying to go that costs $50,000? Y'all know what I mean. I know they got better vacation packages than that, but still, you know. And I feel like families that do, you know, survive that every day, they should actually get out more, go on vacation. They're the main people. The hardworking people deserve vacations too, but that's hard work. You know what I'm saying? Just surviving an illness you was born with. Think about it. That's why they do try to get them out to Disney trips, and I don't think those just sporadic here and there vacations are enough though. You know, if you know your family's been through a lot of trauma, y'all trying to heal, you're suffering from mental illness, or you're trying to combat it in multiple ways, get out and go on vacation more too. Just because a person got mental health, they know when they're having fun, when they're in a beautiful place away from judgmental people. I feel that way. They know when they're being treated right and wrong. That's some of the most gifted people, if you ask me anyway. Aunt D, they say that to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, and that's just a word of encouragement. That's not just something I speak to people anyway. I speak that for a reason of encouragement when I say it to a certain people or persons about their loved one. I believe some people be with God before their body even dropped, before the heart even stopped. This just what science tells us, or certain capacities. You know what I mean? What you mean? I feel like, I don't know. My faith don't have limits. That's why I say it wasn't where I thought it was nothing, where I'm asking God for faith every day. No, that's true. It really do build it. Faith builds character. Give it some time. They let everything else grow and fester. Give faith a second. Give it just a little more time. And every day you coming for it just to refuel. Like, I ain't even got to get on F, God. I just need like two more notches. You be that determined. You know what I mean? Like, it does begin to produce something to me, which all in all, what is that something I feel like it produced? Stronger faith. Ain't no doubt in your mind what you do. What level your mind get to. It don't mean you can't still be tested. It's just like you're in a stronger place. Like, okay, I never thought I'd need faith and strength for this, but God, this was unexpected. I need some more. I need some more faith. Like, just being vulnerable with God in that way. We'll go be vulnerable and vent to other people who don't even understand. They probably don't even understand. You could try to tell them, read them a book. This is how autism is. This is how bipolar is. This is how they could think you're giving like, what you trying to teach you? If it even trigger you or you don't want to hear it, there's something wrong, and it's a loved one suffering from that. And it's people in my life that I love right now, and I don't believe they will even understand how much I love them. I'm not just talking about my kids. You know what I'm saying? Anybody I've ever loved. They be like, you gotta watch it with tough love. Ooh, I just wasn't a person to practice that all the time. Like, tough love, tough love, tough love. Like, everybody show it different. But one thing I love about one of the people I'm talking about, you can't beat her going to research something. She just remind me of myself. And I'm like, people can try to point out every other bad habit they feel like somebody picked up from me, but I see those positive ones too. You know, a person can believe in themselves for themselves. I'm not taking credit for that. Like, what they want to research, and just even that she be having the whole what's that, like, desire to, like, she knows it's a go-to. It's deeper than Google with us. Like, how I'm like trying to love on and teach the people around me, but it just has showed me and inspired me, like, hey, those other habits that you do, people are watching. Maybe they picking up on it. Going to research, it got so deep. You know, people hit me with their research, like, you know how you said you believe this and that, and well, I researched this, and this is what I found. I actually enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it could be a healthy, let's share our perceptions type of thing. Because I'm not one to force mine on others. I actually wish them their own powerful experiences in life so that they can firmly believe whatever it is they say they believe in. But mental health, I believe in that. I'm not one of those that's just, oh, all mental health illness is spiritual demons. I've heard people say that. I'm saying where I agree and I disagree. I agree because some mental illness people not even born with. I didn't say I agree altogether because of that. I'm saying that's a whole reason it could be true. It's just crazy. Like, just like you can grow up and um have illnesses later that you weren't born with. I don't even want to give examples, but really think about it. Like, diabetes, different stuff you just wasn't born with. They don't call that demonic attachments, and people are not born with that, and they grow up, they end up with diabetes, different stuff later. That's something that was induced. Yeah, that's an example of that. But it's like, you wouldn't say, yeah, that person, that's a just because they got diabetes, it's a demon. I don't know. I don't think. I'm back. I'm back. I promise y'all. My live just went out. For those of you that got the notification, we are back. Uh, my device went whole dead on me, y'all. Can y'all believe that? I was like, really? I was finna try to pull up the stream on my other one. That's what took so long for me to come back. But as y'all see, I'm 2 hours in to this topic at this point, and I could go on and on about uh, the realities of mental health illness, how much more we can always continue to Spread awareness. There's no right or wrong awareness, especially if you've had your own experiences. And I don't just mean personally, because sometimes those experiences are with the ones you love the most. And you wouldn't be ashamed of the ones you love the most either. But you already have an open mind and heart about where the world is with it. For one, if I don't feel like they're aware enough with it, a specific condition, you already wouldn't trust it as much because you not 100%. If you don't feel like, just like you wouldn't leave your kid with somebody that's never babysat in their life, never had a kid, nothing. You want people around you, that type of support that actually, if not, understand. Because, like I said, it don't come with a guidebook. Like the day you have your baby or you have a loved one, like this is exactly how to get them through this. But I said that it's still an honor and token, in my opinion, to try. TRY. And that's what we reverence on the overall for today on this stream from You Will Make It TV. I was finna close it, I think, anyway, right before it cut off on me like that. Please, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe so that you are able to tune in to future live streams just like these. I will be back. I hope you guys are excited. I'm actually coming back with another insightfulness topic this evening. Maybe y'all can have me playing in the dinner table. Get your wine, your dinner together. That's what I love about podcast, radio, media too though. You could be taking a shower, still handling your household duties and still listen in. You know what I mean? When it's a TV show, you actually got to stop everything and sit there and wait, till you're done or have time. Y'all know we got DVR and stuff now. To sit there and finish a TV show series or a movie. But I love radio, podcast streams, you know what I'm saying, interviews and stuff like that because I can totally listen in. Just me personally, while I'm cleaning my house, doing womanly duties or doing some chores. I don't care. I could be taking a jog out in public. That's the great thing about podcast video technology today. Used to could just listen to the radio if you got one that you carry with you. You got one at home or in your car. We've come a long way. So I definitely like to take advantage of just because we're in the age of intaking technology, it doesn't mean we don't have to be careful in what we intake. Trust me, I already know. But that doesn't mean you can't intake at like a faster pace. What do y'all think about that? That's what the internet today allows us to do. That's why you do have to watch what you're intaking. Soaking up like a sponge. But shout out to Andy and her family. Condolences to them. Nothing but positive energy, light, peace. Send her signs, God, that you are with her, that you are proud of her work, because a lot of us as subscribers and viewers, we are. I know God knows what her and her family, her channel mean to us, and we haven't even been around her family story long. We already were captivated. It caught our hearts, and I was also able to show my own babies. Look at the what other people go through too. You know what I mean? Look how strong this mother right here is. You know what I mean? Look how she's not out there chasing life, a man. That is life for her. Making sure that those babies have everything that they need, that she can be as much as one person that she could be to all three of them. Because they're not just her blood, they just also have mental illness. Whether a person related to you or not, they can be suffering with that. So I don't know if they was really paying attention to it like I do, but sometimes they'll stop and watch. I'll be like, girls, check this out or this out. We show each other different videos, that we find interesting. They could be about hair, beauty products, whatever. But it was She's been just such an inspiration. She can't hear that enough. All I said out of this whole thing, the pillars of any community, families, it's not their doubt is not to be their strength is not to be doubted. When their strength is being tested, we got to make sure we're there for those, because they were the pillars for so long. We don't all know what's going on with it just yet. I'm just saying it's been quite the inspiration. She doesn't show her life in a way to me that she's trying to exploit their mental health, but like exactly what it says. More like awareness. And if the world can't use it, hospitals, uh, clinics, therapy offices, they can always use more, of what people feel like they experience, seen, heard, when they suffer or witness the sufferings or caretake for somebody who might be dealing with such. Now, I'll leave my next topic and whatever it's going to be probably a surprise, but I will be back this evening. So I hope you guys are excited. I'm finna refresh, get me some good tea, water, something, and come back with another topic and come back live and interact with you guys actually way more frequently than we have been doing on You Will Make It TV. I'm your inspirational quotes audio speaker and author, Tedashiri, and I'm very grateful for you guys' support in this topic today. Like, share, subscribe, and until next time.